Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Just in case I
0.
clip that out.
Gang,
I'm probably going to leave it in now.
We can't, because I said fuck, but still.
But you said it like 3 times. I was still going to leave it in.
Gang, be honest. We gonna have to be like on some first take cussing. Like, you would say damn, maybe hell of a gang. I'm not saying
That's going in. That's going in.
we can say stuff like that, but gang.
Welcome, everybody, to the GetBack podcast, Ep.2. I'm your host, Damian Dusten, here with your co-host,
Ayden Jones, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
and today we'll be discussing. Well, first of all, welcome back.
We can say that.
Consistency
Yeah,
is
I think
key.
we got to jump into it. Consistency is key. I know last time it took us a while, but we here.
Catching a little groove 2 weeks in a row has to be a personal best for us, and I'll say it feels good. It feels good. Like I said, got a lot of positive response for the first episode, so it's good to be back. Here to talk ball with y'all. You know, maybe bullshit a little in the process, but
I think this is gonna be a good episode.
I think so too.
I think, but I will say what we're getting started out with. It's a little important. I think we're gonna try to agree to disagree with this one, but I think that we have some differences of the thoughts of UFC 313.
We do. We do
indeed.
indeed.
You want to just jump? You want to jump into the main event?
We can jump into the main event first. Actually, before we get into that, let's discuss some things that I want to discuss. I feel like were less important yesterday night, but I still feel like is something that we should talk about.
Mhm.
First of all, I'll start off. What did you think about Bobby Green getting KO'd by was it Gruff?
Rough.
Yeah.
You want to know what? The fight, I can already tell by the way it was going out. The way he kind of walked out, he looked hungry, but the way he was just keeping a lot of pressure on him, like the spinning wheel kick, that was personal. That was personal. To stand over a man after you basically just murdered him is, you look at it, and also Bobby Green, he's 38.
38.
He's 38. What more does he have? I'd say like the past year he's been on a good run, but
He has. He had that good
you're
win
asking
against
for a
Jim
lot.
Miller at UFC 3. Was through UFC 300.
But
And
you're asking for a lot, especially against Ruff.
absolutely.
Ruff is definitely on the up and coming. Like
Absolutely.
that's a good fighter.
And if you didn't know, that's the 16th wheel kick knockout in UFC history. I don't know if you knew that.
It was crazy.
It was pretty interesting. Next up, I really wanted to get into the Jalen Turner situation. Obviously, he fought Ignacio and lost via submission. What were your thoughts on him hanging up, presumably? Because this, I genuinely don't. I think he may still come back. His retirement, basically.
You know, I don't want to sound more strict, but I just don't think he wanted it. I don't think that he actually had it in him to go for a championship. It's different when you're fighting for a championship, when you're fighting for money that's involved with just putting on gloves.
Absolutely.
I think that he realized that there's more to it. He put the gloves down. And I mean, that's all right, but from his past, he had a lot of potential that he wasted, I think. Like, I feel maybe after the Dan Hooker fight that possibly changed or maybe shifted over his mindset, but it's sad to see, but hopefully he can find something to possibly come back and be a little stronger.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I think it definitely caught me off guard, but when you put it like that, I totally get it. My only thing is I really saw him as a top 15 striker in that division. Like, you can't tell me that there's 15 guys in that division that strike better than Jalen Green.
I'm not going to say I can, but I can probably tell you that there's more hungry people in the actual division. Probably 15 more that actually want it more than him.
Okay.
As it shows.
All right. I guess I see it from that standpoint. I'm not going to talk about the snooze fest that was Lemos and
we're going to skip over like most people did, which is okay.
So we're just going to move on to the co-main.
Let's talk about the highlight.
Let's
talk about the highlight Gaethje, man.
What were your thoughts? I know you're a big fan of Justin. What were your thoughts on his unanimous decision victory over Rafael Fiziev?
You want to know what? And Rafael, I think for the time that both of the fighters had, of course, he came in on short notice, which you got to give him applause for, but just wasn't ready. You can tell going into that third round, he was a little gassed. Maybe his mind, maybe his body just wasn't mentally or physically prepared to go into war with Justin Gaethje for number 2. Of course, Justin Gaethje's already won the fight with him before, so I think his preparation was probably a little bit more dedicated. I think he was probably a little bit more dedicated to his preparation for the fight. Of course, the other fight that should have happened, and then it transferred over to just going to Rafael. So it was a good fight.
Do you think what I definitely picked up on that fight is I thought Rafael Fiziev actually got better.
It was
From
improvement, but
from the first fight.
for how much? For
I felt like his striking was a lot more technical in this second fight around than the first one. I feel like the first one he took so much damage just simply because his counter striking and his entryways of getting to Gaethje were just almost a lot more risky than they were yesterday.
I feel like we can say that, but then I feel like in the first round he would move around a lot. His footwork is very good. Of course, he can move around the octagon, but once he gets caught, once I know he got caught with that uppercut, and it's like once you get caught, you're kind of stunned, and he stays stunned for almost about 2 minutes, and you see him piece off combos, and he keeps ripping at his legs and his stomach and everything, and it adds up. It definitely adds up.
Right.
So,
So my next question for the follow up: where does Justin Gaethje go from here? Obviously, he was the ranked number 3 contender. You got Charles, you got Arman Tsarukyan. Where does he really go after a win like this? That, I mean, he really did leave no doubt entering that third.
I will say this. I do still want to see the Dan Hooker fight. I think that will still be a very entertaining slugfest. I think that they will genuinely try to take each other's heads off, and it will be a very good fight.
But is Justin is he now in the sport? Because my thing is, I just don't see him. Listen, I'm not saying he's going to retire outright, but I'm not seeing him take those risks anymore. I thought he took a big risk fighting Rafael on such short notice at this point because he was preparing for a less technical, more violent fighter in Dan Hooker, which I think stylistically for a finish that works out better for Justin Gaethje. But Rafael was probably a tougher opponent to game plan for just because of the multitude of things that he can do. Because he can still, I mean, that is a Muay Thai specialist.
You're right, but Dan Hooker's also just a boxer. That's a pure boxer that can get in an octagon and still put on something with his legs. He can possibly go to the ground if he needs to, but he can throw a punch. He can throw a nice jab, and I think Justin is going into like his second stint of noticing is gonna be violent fights. Like rather he goes to Charles, even if they somehow even threw him a Islam fight in the future. If it was something like that, you're gonna have to still get hit. You're gonna have to fight, and he knows that. I think that he's preparing for it. And like you said, going with Rafael, like it was kind of like a challenge, of course, to both fighters, but more probably to Justin because he was expecting one fight and then got the other one. But he still got the job done. I think that he's ready. I think that he knows what it's about to take to probably go on another title run, if you want to potentially say, like in his name, of course. Yeah,
I think, and I see where you're coming from, but I also think this out of the top, I'll actually say 6 in the lightweight division. I think they're all better favorites over Gaethje. I think Gaethje's the worst title contender in there, even though he's ranked number 3. I still think he's the worst one. I really do.
Tell me all 6 that you have above him right now.
Well, of course, Charles and Tsarukyan, obviously. We have. I think Poirier is ranked below, but I think Poirier is better still at this age.
I can't say that.
Is that really crazy to say?
I really cannot say that. Not anymore. I don't think so. I haven't thought so for a long time. I think Max.
I think Max is better. I mean, proven. Thank you. We don't really have to discuss that.
I hate going back to the past, but okay.
And then Islam, the champ. I mean, yeah, that's. I think.
The fight.
I honestly think.
See the fight.
I think Islam versus Justin Gaethje would be the most unentertaining fight ever because I think how quick it would be over
I think that we all know who would be the favorite of the fight, but I think it could still turn out to a good fight.
Put your mic up a little bit. There we go.
Do we think I sound a little better?
Yeah.
A little better. All right, say that. That's cool. I mean, we can still talk about that. I do want to get into the main event though. I want to see where you stand at. Who do you think won this fight? And do you think that someone got robbed?
I don't think it was a robbery, but I did see it 1-3-5 Pereira. I just feel like Magomed Ankalaev tried so hard to take him down. 11 takedown attempts.
Great
0
defense, by the way.
Takedowns.
Great defense, by the way.
And I felt like even in those clinch situations at the cage, I just felt like there was no damage being done.
It's still control time. You slide, because I know if it was the other way around, I know that we would give it to Alex. We would still give him that upper hand if he had that type of control time.
I would agree, but how much credit are we giving control time? Because you have one of the refs, having it 4 rounds to 1.
That was the crazy. Now, when he said 49-46, that was wild.
For me, I just didn't see.
That was wild.
Because I thought in the first round, Alex controlled the pace. He kept hitting at that lead calf, and I think it worked. You saw Ankalaev switching stance, and I felt like he won that round, a close margin, but I felt like his striking was overall better. Second round, yeah, you can give to
Second,
Ankalaev, absolutely.
like,
Third
but
round, I felt like it was,
you can't
I'm
skip
gonna try
past
to
that
take you
second
down
round. You
now.
can't skip past the second
We're
round.
not, but it wasn't a 10-8. In my opinion, it wasn't a 10-8.
In my decision, in my own eyes,
That is
I
not a
think
10-8.
yes,
You
I'm pretty
cannot.
sure with that stun at the end,
That
where
is
you
the
can tell that
craziest thing to
Alex was
say.
easy. If let's say this, 10 more seconds are on that clock, what happens at the end of that second round? What happens? If you no
Okay,
stop, no,
timing
that's what I'm saying. I feel like we're being
and what
biased
you've
now because we know
done.
who it is.
No,
I think
I really don't.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that he just wasn't intimidated by the trauma. I don't think that he was
Oh, I'm
purely. I don't. I
I'll,
think that he was mentally just prepared. He wanted that fight for so long, and you could tell when he went in there, and when he stunned him, it could have been raps. I don't. I haven't seen Alex that stunned since obviously Izzy. I like that was someone who almost went down.
which
He
is
almost
fair.
went down.
Which is fair, but I just for me, in if you're going to win in a decision in a championship fight, you need to prove to me unequivocally that you won.
I want to say this though. Do you think that Alex proved it? Because I'll say this: he had a lot of pressure, but he wasn't very active. A lot of
He
pressure,
wasn't.
but
That's just
didn't
because
throw
he
that
was on the
much.
retreat for most of the fight because
Let's talk. Okay, that's
Uncle
fine.
Life just he advanced on him so much. I feel like it just worked.
I feel you, but I feel like he had so much takedowns, but he also had more strikes. He had more significant
Takedown
strikes.
attempts, he didn't get
More
him
total.
down.
He had more strikes either way. He pieced up Alex more than Alex pieced him up, and he somehow was backing up more. How is Alex pressuring him the whole fight and still gets pieced basically 50 more times? Doesn't make sense. Alex like he wasn't throwing it. He was so consistent of just bobbing back and forth. He even kind of moved to orthodox one time. It did nothing. Like he wasn't throwing. He wasn't trying to actually hurt him. I feel like he was more. I think like his mindset was trying to figure out what his next move was, rather than saying what am I about to do. And he wasn't mixing it up enough to still give him that same power that he was throwing back at him. I think that's why they gave him the fight. I think that's why he won the fight.
I guess so. I'm just gonna have to respectfully disagree.
Even we look
I
at the
thought Alex
numbers.
won.
You look at the numbers, control time. Like you said, I get it's not a big thing. You still have control time for a whole round and more. 5 minutes and 40 seconds. That's a whole round and more. You have more total strikes, more significant strikes. If I feel like almost if we gave it to Alex, you would be robbing him. I feel like this is simply us being biased and just wanting someone who's a very active champ and someone who we know will not just wrestle every other fight. That's what we wanted to win, but he didn't win. I do believe that like this was a fair win. 49-46. That's wild.
That's wild.
That's wild.
That's what I'm saying.
Wild.
I just don't see. I just don't see that in any case. I see it being 1-3-5 for Alex, and if I had to say Goliath won, then maybe that third one that I gave Alex. But
Alex won. No, I'll say this. That's what I'm saying. We can go by the rounds. First one, I think it can
Pereira.
honestly go to whoever.
I thought it was Pereira unequivocally.
That's cool.
You don't
second
think so?
round, second round, we know who that went to. Obviously, third round, I do get a Pereira. Fourth and fifth, it was almost like raps almost. I do think that the last 3 rounds, I'm pretty sure that he won. I think that Alex, like you said, you could give him the first and 2, and I would say that that's probably about it. Most likely, that's it.
We're just gonna have to respectfully disagree on this one.
Respectfully disagree, and hopefully Alex bounce back. Do you think, or I'll say, who do you think Alex will try to go after this? Do you think it'll try to be a rematch?
Immediate rematch, and
immediate?
I think that's almost fair because both of these guys, especially in a fight like this where it was close, both really didn't get injured like that. I thought that this should have happened with it. Drakus fought. Who did Drakus fight after?
For what? Which fight?
After he beat Izzy. Wow. Strickland. Oh, straight away, huh?
Strickland.
That is right. Okay, so I would say.
And then obviously they ran it back.
They ran it back. It should be like that. But this is almost even more certain of run it back because
it was
didn't get injured.
I mean, it's almost the same thing with that because obviously, what do we say? What do we say about that first fight with Strickland and Duplessis?
We thought it was a good fight.
We thought, but they also said it was a robbery for Sean, and that's why he got his rematch. And then what happened? He proved,
left no doubt.
He proved No, that was the real fight.
So
So
it could potentially go that same way, but I just really see.
now I will say this: when Alex goes into that next fight, can't tell me that he's not throwing more punches. Like I'm telling you, Alex almost not held punches for his favor, of course, but I think that he was generally
was-
holding punches. Like he
and
wasn't throwing his full strength.
And I feel like coming into the fight, he was more worried about Ankalaev's wrestling.
That's what I'm saying. Which so prepared.
So prepared. So now if he puts
loved it, so prepared.
So now if he puts in both the work on the striking and the wrestling, I think now you're looking at a, you know what, I'm going to leave no doubt that I should have won.
That's what I'm saying. Hopefully, you know what? I think we're all big fans of Pereira, so I think mostly everybody wanted him to win, except for obviously some other people. But I think this next fight, hopefully, he proves himself wrong or proves himself right. I apologize, and then see what happens there. But I think we have talked a lot about the UFC so far.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how do we feel about today? Today, breaking news, first of all. I'll start off. The Cleveland Browns extend Myles Garrett to a 4-year, $160 million deal. Not only is this big because of the money implications, but this will also have direct implications on the NFL draft. First of all, I just want your thoughts on the extension. What do you think?
Back and forth, but mainly happy. And I know some people will be saying why, or some people will probably disagree. He's just such a key part for the Browns. He's mainly the heart and the hero of Cleveland. It's almost like if he leaves, we just know that it's a full rebuild. Like we know it's a full restart. So I think him coming back is great, but we also know the words that he said, and we also know how much that he's getting. And it could possibly and potentially damage us a little bit even more from the pothole that we are currently in. So
I would agree with
hopefully,
that. I think it was the second stupidest move since signing Deshaun Watson to guaranteed money off of an injury with no idea of seeing him play. It's up there. It is up there. It's going to end up being up there.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. This
I
is
understand
the first man,
that.
the fastest
He's
player
aging.
to ever get 100 sacks this past year.
I understand that.
Hasn't had under 14 sacks the last
Age is going to start
years.
to set his toe, and you're willing to pay him quarterback money.
We'll have to see.
But you know what this did do? This did change my mock draft 1.0. I have a new mock draft, and I want you to tell me what you think, especially after a trade like that had implications on the Browns. So for the first pick, I was leaning. This one was really hard for me, actually. These two guys, I don't think you're going to think that I was going to say them. Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter. Really? That was going to be the battle for one.
Do you think that Travis started? Because I know, like we said last time, I feel like his
stock was up, down, and then up.
It kind of kept going up and down, which is very weird. But you think that it's going to go straight back up to the one spot?
I think he can go back up to one. I think the injury of Abdul Carter that we heard about, which he's not going to get surgery for, obviously, I think it affected it. But now how you see the quarterback landscape working out. Now the Cleveland almost has to select the quarterback now. And I think
such a scary thought. It's such a scary thought.
But now it's so hard because Tennessee, while they also need a quarterback, they still have something that they can, see the eye test on still, because we just don't really know the ceiling for Will Levis. But I just see them selecting Travis Hunter, the best one of the best players available, because I still have Abdul Carter rated a little higher. And I have Cleveland selecting Cam Ward.
Let's see. I see where you're coming from that actual change. I think either way, we were going to draft the QB. I think I said that in the first episode. Not necessarily seeing Travis possibly jump up. I still think that he will probably go to someone like the Patriots, the Jaguars, like that somewhat higher pick, of course. But I think the Browns will most likely still select Shedeur Sanders. I still think that Cam Ward.
That is
just
wow.
I just know. Not necessarily. I won't say it's a guarantee.
Especially with how he's dropped this past week on the mocks.
Are you saying just because of what the GMs are saying, or because of his style of play?
Yeah.
Because of what the GMs are saying about what he's saying.
Both. A team has
to the GMs.
There's potential that he could slip. In my opinion, let's see here. Just because of what happened, I know they just drafted a quarterback. Ooh, there's two teams right here. if the Raiders don't select him, which now they can't because of Geno,
Right.
you really have to look at the Jets at 7. Look at the Jets at 7 and look at New Orleans at
I
9.
don't think he would fall that far. I don't think he would even fall that far.
I think he will.
And I think
I
that's
think you'd be
crazy
surprised.
that what GMs can say over somebody's
You know,
play
you'd be
can
surprised.
just
You would be
like
surprised.
come on, man. But I mean that's okay. I still think, like I said, it's only because of this. Cam Ward behind a O line that is not top 5 in the league, I feel would just look so different from what we have seen him play the past 2 or 3 years at Miami. I think that we will see a complete change because, of course, he's going to go into the NFL,
Absolutely.
and it's going to be some struggles that every rookie QB has to see. Of course, behind the Browns O line, you may even see some more than others. So, getting, I think, Shador, who's a little bit more mobile, who can run around and actually get out of that pocket and still make a good pass, I think that'll probably be their main option. But if it goes to Cam Ward, I can still see it. I can see it.
I just see it being Cam. I really just don't see a world where
Do you think that he's the better QB?
Cam Ward?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think so.
Arm wise, talent wise, like why?
I think his composure is a lot greater than Shador's. And while we do have to credit that top 3 O-line that they had at Florida, he just really just seemed to have better ball placement than Shador all in all. Now, listen, if we go highlight for highlight, it's Cam Ward. I mean, you really just have to be honest with yourself. And
Cam Ward?
And he was doing this prior.
Wait, pause. Highlight for highlight, you're gonna watch. I'll tell you this because I think
I think if you're watching as a GM to draft a quarterback, yes, I'm not looking for these.
Wait, stop.
These are flashy plays.
Stop. What other QB has the 5 to 10 seconds? Not even when I say I haven't seen a QB be able to just walk, not run around the pocket, walk around the pocket. Like when I say walking at the slowest stride.
Totally understand that.
No,
but
stop.
if
and then
I'm
you're
a
throwing
GM,
to Rossetto, one of the best wide receivers in college football.
They had one of the best receiving corps in the nation.
So wait.
I understand that.
I don't see how
his
it's
ball
fair.
placement was still elite.
Ball placement can be elite when you have to do nothing. When you're standing there almost like you're in practice in a practice
and that's crazy
jersey,
to say. That's crazy to say,
like
especially in the NFL. Ball placement is key.
This is the same reason why I said he should buy his whole O line, a big Ford truck or do like buy them the world.
I just disagree. Cam Ward's a better quarterback, especially on.
We'll have to see. We'll see over this next year. Who do you think will have a
better leader
season?
As well? Bet he's a better leader as well.
I can say that. I think they're both a little cocky, but I think that
that's what the Browns need. They need leadership.
So you're getting it from both Cam and Shador.
Cam.
I think they're both cocky. I think that they're both like. I mean, okay, like that's what I'm saying. We're gonna have to see.
We'll see.
We will see. We will see.
We'll see.
But I do like the change in there. I do want to talk about some free agents or maybe some other moves that have happened. Who do you think will be like the main like the main free agent, or I'll say even like the main QB or like the main offensive piece that can go to a team right now?
I think the market for Sam Darnold was kind of up in the air, which, listen, for me, I kind of get it.
Right.
It makes sense for the teams that are dire need for a quarterback. Like, at first, I really thought he was going to go to the Raiders, but now obviously not with that Geno Smith trade. Somebody else that I could really see drawing a lot of interest, even though he's aging, of course, is newly released Devontae Adams. That is a huge piece that any team could pick up.
Right.
I think LA should look at that. And lastly, I think in free agency, you're going to watch out for DK. DK is going. He said he wants to play for a warm weather contender. So there's Tampa, Houston, Chargers, Rams. That's it. So do I think he's going to any of those teams? Absolutely not. Get ready to play in the snow.
If you want to contend for something, if you want to chip,
get ready to go to Buffalo.
Get ready to bundle up a little bit.
Get ready to go to Buffalo. I mean, to say that you want to go to a warm weather contender, it's like, I want to go to 1 or 4 teams, coach.
Right.
All right.
Do you think that Aaron Rodgers still has a big name in this free agency? Do you think like he can still go to a team, mind you,
for one team? For one team. For one team,
gonna say the Giants?
I'm going to say that the Tennessee Titans, if they don't select because if they end up taking Travis Hunter, you pair up. Hear me out. and Aaron Rodgers, who I still think quarterback wise is better than Will Levis now, mentoring Will Levis for a year to then still be throwing it to Travis Hunter to get him some experience with a decent quarterback. That is a perfect
different.
bridge year.
That's different. Right.
That would be like a perfect bridge year for Tennessee. I feel like it couldn't go any better if what I'm thinking could happen. It's like Jordan Love we think he's a top 10 quarterback. We can't name, actually, he's probably a top 7 quarterback.
I'd say top 10. I'd say top 10.
And you can't credit that if Aaron Rodgers wasn't there for the first 3 years mentoring him.
Mentoring and coaching him.
They are almost the same. Have you seen their mannerisms? They throw the same.
He does do a lot of the same stuff. I'll say that.
So that would be ideal. That's the only team that I could really see getting them.
I mean, I've heard some stuff about the Giants, but I just don't really see it happen. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Do you think that Kirk Cousins leaves Atlanta, or is he just staying where he's at right now?
I'm done with Kirk Cousins, man. To be quite honest with you,
you're done. As much as he got paid,
Kirk O'Chains was the stupidest name for the first 2 months that he had, because he had a great 509 yards, the whole jazz on Monday Night Football.
Did he fool everybody? Did he get us? Did he get us cold-handed?
He did. He did. I think he did. I don't know where he goes. I think if Sam Darnold leaves Minnesota,
it could be something like that.
Reunite with Kevin O'Connell.
What if Aaron Rodgers pulled a little Favre movement and went to Minnesota? Is that wild?
There's no market for Aaron Rodgers, I think, in Minnesota. I don't think so. I just don't see it.
No history.
I think Aaron is actually too loyal to Green Bay to want to play them twice a year.
Oh, really? I haven't thought about it like that. Okay. We talked about some QBs.
Okay.
What about the wide receivers? Do we think that it's right that T. Higgins is just like being held hostage at his own will? Hey, wait. Would you be held hostage for $26 million a year?
I think sure.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. I think the franchise tag needs to be like abolished.
I wouldn't even
what
say
you
abolished,
just said.
but
It's
for,
being
but for,
held
but for
hostage
2 times in back, not even like 2 times, like 1 year this and then the other maybe like getting back-to-back years.
It's crazy, and I know the price tag goes up when you do that twice a year, but
doesn't matter. Franchise tag back-to-back years.
At that point, he's not going to want to stay because you forced him to stay under as well.
Forcing him. Yeah.
So it's going to run out. I think the franchise tag, it's you genuinely just locking up your player for as long as you can, because you know he's probably not going to re-sign. Like, that's genuinely.
You give him a good pay. He's still in the top 10 of highest paid wide receivers in the league.
No, I absolutely.
He's just being held hostage.
That's
not where he wants to be.
I totally agree. But
cool. Another wide receiver. I think that you will actually I think that you can actually kind of go deep into this. Where is Chris Godwin going? Do we think could he possibly return, or is it?
I think if Denver falls out of the sweepstakes for any of the better receivers, I think you could potentially see him end up in Denver, just because he's a guy that can work the middle of the field. Denver ranked, I believe, 28th in middle of the field passes to wide receivers.
Right.
Get a guy like Chris Godwin who can fit inside the numbers. Pause. He's like that works perfect for Bo Nix. But I think you can see him go to Chargers, help Lad McConkey out. I think you could see him go, obviously, the dumpster fire in San Francisco. Maybe if he wants to get a little get back here, go to San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of teams he can go to. I just think those 4 make the most sense for me.
Okay. I think we've talked enough about the offense. Let's jump into the defense. I think a top name, at least for me, I think he could be a top name for a lot of good teams. Josh Sweat. Do you think where do you think that he'll end up?
They need to re-sign him.
They have to. I think he's too good to almost let go like that.
For him to get to the QB so much in the Super Bowl, if they don't re-sign him, that is like I guess similar to when Von Miller won Super Bowl MVP and then they traded him away.
Traded him. You saw he just got released too. He just got released. I
don't want to get too into that.
Whoa, why? What's wrong with that?
I want him to go back to home. I want to go back to Denver. It makes a lot of sense.
Wrong with that? Yeah, I think
because I think he's in the tail end.
It is.
But back to Montez Sweat.
And it's not even where he would be going to back to like his home team where it's just, oh, I'm just going like, no, y'all contenders. He can still play.
Yeah.
Riley like
On
him,
third down,
he can
I'm
still
cool with
play.
it.
He can still play.
Absolutely. But back to who you were talking about, Josh Sweat. I think he needs to get re-signed, and that's that. I mean, obviously, I know they'll pay him good after the implications he
Right.
had last game, so I don't really think he's going to go anywhere else. But if he does leave, I mean, I don't know if the Lions want to give that a look. They just released Zadarius Smith.
Just released him, yeah.
Go line Josh Sweat up with Aiden Hutchinson.
He's getting passed around too. Bad pass around. But that's cool. I think there's a couple other like big names in the defense. I would say we got people like Holland. Do you think that Darius Slay? Where do you think he's going?
Darius Slay. I could see him playing for the Lions, going back home, play for the Lions, or I could see him maybe playing for the Raiders. Pete Carroll, guy like Pete Carroll. But that's.
You think Pete's gonna like put some together? Because
I think he'll put. I think he'll put together a nice little 6-win team.
What if Gino genuinely has Pete back?
6 wins.
He rides back. 6 wins.
6 wins.
Write that down, ladies and gentlemen. 6 wins.
That's how much wins they're getting.
Which how many? You know how much they won last year?
They won like 4, 5.
You also had Aiden O'Connell throwing you the ball.
Aiden O'Connell. They had Desmond Ritter. Yeah. Desmond Ritter. Yeah, it was a dumpster fire. Honestly, Gardner Minshew.
As a quarterback group, that is terrible.
It's probably the worst in the NFL.
The Giants, Tommy DeVito.
Oh, I guess it's just because it's popular. Yes, because it's just more popular. But yeah, I guess so. I guess talent-wise. Because Gardner Minshew isn't a scrub. I totally agree.
I do not think he's a scrub. Like I think when he's actually on the team where he's fully comfortable, he usually plays pretty good. I think he's a nice backup to at least have.
Yeah, I agree.
I was one other person. I know you're about to talk. What were you going to say?
Were you going to say Khalil Mack?
His name is not really big. I think I've always just been a fan of him. DJ Reed.
Reed. I like that.
He's nice. He is nice.
One of probably the best corner in this free agency.
Yeah.
I think
you got him and what's the other dude's name? Ward. Ward's in there too.
Yeah. I think he's gonna go. He's probably gonna re-sign with the Jets. Makes the most sense. I think Sauce is still suspect to me. I think he's
Sauce.
His rookie year
so suspect after his rookie.
His rookie year was fantastic.
It's because it's almost like when you don't have a lot of tape on a rookie, obviously because he just hasn't played that much games. You don't really know exactly what they're gonna do. One good year of tape and people actually looking at you and they got a real playbook for you now. He got a little barbecue, but I think he's so decent. I think he could have some help having Reed coming back for him.
I totally agree. But yeah, I think he stays with the Jets ultimately.
Okay. And then there has been some other moves. Do you think Deebo Samuels? Do you think Deebo at
you hate Deebo? Did you just hear that devious laugh?
Oh, dude,
how much do you hate Deebo?
I don't hate him. I just think because I think I saw a little comment that he left where he said, "I don't know where y'all getting that information from. I ain't nowhere past 220. You lying to us, big dog." You lying to us in our face. I think we've also on the same picture, like, and that was him at a club too. Like, so it was a full lean gut. Like, that's not just off season. That's him just saying, like, here with it. Like what now? Like, I mean, the Commanders are good.
Yeah.
The Command, I think he could gain some more potential or motivation when he's leaving that 49ers group. Possibly, you get a good quarterback. Jaden Daniels, you still have a nice wide receiver group where you don't have to always be the number one. Of course, is he? I don't know if I would call him the number one. I'm a big Terry fan. I'm a big
and
Terry
I
fan.
think Dwayne Brown.
Nice
I think he's wide receiver number 2.
Another big move, which I think it's a big move for like not casual fans. I think like casuals they don't really see it. The Bears trading for Joe.
Joe Toomey.
Yeah. What do you feel about that?
For me,
compared to what their O-line was last year.
I think it was a bigger move that Kansas City got rid of him because I think it really hurts them and affects them.
Oh, I thought you were saying like maybe like in a good way, but yeah, that's true.
Because you traded away, you already got smoked on the offensive
Bad.
line on the Super Bowl.
Bad.
Why would you get rid of your All-Pro?
Not even in the Super Bowl. That
Now,
was all season.
his play in the playoffs was definitely suspect because I think because they kept swapping him around.
Yeah.
Which for me, you don't do that with a guy like him. I know they recently paid Trey Smith, so they're going to keep him, which is their other offensive lineman. We'll definitely have to see if they make any moves to replace Tunley, maybe through the draft or via free agency. I know there's some guys out there, but I mean, I get it for the Bears. Protect your QB, invest in them. 5-win team.
Man,
Lakers in 5.
really?
That's what it is.
Really?
That's what it is. I just don't. Caleb hasn't. Obviously,
They're
there's
always
tape.
off-season champs though. They're they're
Yeah.
always off-season. They always somehow get like good pieces. You don't think it's gonna never it never is gonna come together?
No, sure. I just don't think. I don't think his sophomore year is his year that he takes off.
I think it's gonna.
I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. I want to say it's gonna be 7, but then I feel like when I actually think about it, then it could be a 5.
Because
But
I think
I
Keenan.
think it
Because I
has
think
potential
Keenan's
to be
leaving.
8 or 9.
Because what? Vikings gonna beat him twice a year. Green Bay's gonna beat him twice a year, and then guess who else they
the
have to play?
Vikings will not beat them twice a year now. I know
Yeah.
they won't.
They will.
I think that they
And
put
guess
together
what?
a lot of good pieces. Think about the wide receiver core now. You still have a good defense. Their defense.
Guess who
has
else have to play
definitely
twice a
improved.
year? The Lions. It's done. It's cooked. They're the worst
Not
team.
5.
Huh?
Not 5 though. Hopefully 7. Hopefully 8 or 7.
Mate.
That's what I'm saying. Like you know,
If they
there's
keep-
potential for it.
The
There's
problem
potential
is
for it.
Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen may leave too, which obviously maybe they'll get somebody in the draft that I think is younger and
right
faster.
and,
But
yeah,
I mean, they're gonna lose some pieces here.
you will.
They're not just gonna gain. They're just not gonna add on. There's gonna be some subtraction to that team, and I think short of them making like this blockbuster move, which Tunley is a good pickup, but
Right.
blockbuster move, I just don't see it.
We'll have to see. I think they can have a higher, maybe like a higher side. I think they will see a little potential going into the next season. Maybe 8, maybe 7. If they do drop to 5, I'll give you $5. What about that? That's fair. I'll put bread that they win 7 games.
Okay,
Did I just lose $5?
they can win 6. Like I said 6, right? You
That's
said
fair.
7. I like that. $5. We're gonna circle back, and we have it on tape now. The handshake, because I remember we made some bets last season.
$5. For $5, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think we've talked enough about the NFL. Want to talk about some ball? Want to talk about some basketball? I think we witnessed some history the past couple of days. It's never been done before. Like not where we say, "Oh,
30,
it hasn't been done since
20,
this person."
and 20.
30, 20, and 20.
30, 20, and 20 from
Who does he think
Jokic,
he
and
is?
I think the thing about Jokic is that when you see him play, it's not, man, I'm going to try to get 30, 20, and 20. This is what I have to do for
This
my
is what I
team
have
to win.
win.
And I think we've never seen a player carry that load before. He's one of the greatest players of all time. Now, standing, in my opinion, he is in my top 10 list of greatest basketball players of all time. Yeah, that was a lot for you to take.
That was a lot. Well, I had almost. I was about to say something, but I had to pause.
That was a lot for you.
It's a lot, but you try to argue it, but then
Can't.
I can't. Hold on, wait.
30, 20, and 20. I mean, the closer we got to that was.
I don't really want to get into your top 2 because I feel like that's such long combo.
That's a long conversation.
A
That's
long
a
combo.
5-hour episode.
But to say that means that's a lot for you. I have 2 questions to kind of bounce off of talking about that.
Pause, man.
Pause. 2 combos to conclude off of what you were saying. Do you believe that this makes him the MVP of the NBA? Where do you think that this puts him at right here?
I remember last episode, I still told you Jokic. I think he just further proved that. Now, we're not going to get too into it because it's too fresh. We need to go back and look at it. Shea, obviously, today dropping 40. But I still think I think you have to 30, 20, and 20. That's like I hop on 2K, put it on rookie, and I just start
like
cooking.
you said, it's never padded. It's never padded stats.
No,
ever.
that's what he needs to do for his
that's
team to
what he
win.
needs to do.
He's the most valuable player to
And I
his
think
team.
that this is also where the other question comes in. What does that say about Jamal Murray? Having all those pieces, why consistently? And I'm not trying to throw shade at him because I think that he's such a good player, the Lakers killer, if we want to call him. Why consistently does Yoke always have to do something like that for them to win? And I feel like mind you, he puts up nice shots, but I also see like in like the end of the game, Yoke also does a lot, maybe too much that he like that's needed from him, and I think it shouldn't be that way. I think he needs help.
I think Jamal is a seasoned superstar. I mean, a seasoned, not seasoned as in he's getting old. He's a seasonal. Playoff time. He's there, and I think right after the All-Star break, maybe a little bit before, he started playing well again. Started getting him a little more consistent.
Right.
They're like, man, Jamal's back, and then he plateaus again for a couple games. So you don't really know which Jamal you're gonna get. But then again, we don't really dive too much into it
Right.
because we know what he's going to do in the playoffs for you. I mean, if you were to close your eyes, if you were to and not see who was who, put the stats there. Jamal in the playoffs is just as valuable as
Yeah.
Jokic.
I
mean, that's peanut butter
depends.
jelly
And you
in the
know what?
playoffs.
I think that we're
I
saying it
really
because
want to see what. Okay,
mind you, he's dropped more than one or two 50 point
Yeah.
games in the playoffs.
there was a sequence last season in the playoffs with Minnesota. I think it was like game 6, or no, game 5, because Denver won game 5,
Right.
where they scored, what was it, 8 points in 3 seconds to end the half. That's when Jamal hit the half court shot.
Right. Mhm.
After Jamal hit that half court shot, he then went to score on like 25 in the next half.
He has those games, but the other games where he's not on,
Yeah, it's 19 on 6 of 19 shooting.
and it hurts the team. Like it really hurts the team.
It does. I think just the
he takes
elevation.
a lot of shots because when he tries to find his, I'll give him that. When he's missing, he'll still shoot that ball. Sometimes
You know who I think has picked up Jamal's slack though? I think Christian Braun.
We talked about this last week too, and you asked me. You said, "What does he have to do to improve?" And my statement exactly.
The threes.
That's wild. Like bro,
And he
that's
literally
wild.
hits a 3 to tie the game.
Send it to OT.
Which
and not
we
even
say
that-
tie the game to take the lead, and then KD happened. But
he still did what he had to do.
he still did what he
As
had to
I
do.
think, because I said it's really hard, not hard to improve on Denver, but you have to you have to find your role. That's one of the teams where when you have a role, that is your role. Like I think
like the KCP.
same thing like that. But watching the games, you can also tell it's been a little shift. Aaron Gordon, he's still a big piece, but you can tell some of that scoring from Aaron Gordon
Is
has
giving
shifted
LeBron.
over to Braun. Because what I think,
And even
he's,
Russ.
he's,
Even Russ.
same thing. But
Russ getting to the
thing with
basket.
him, he's like the third or fourth highest increase for points from last year to this year.
Mhm.
We've bro, he's going from 8 points or 7 points to like 16. That's good numbers. That is good numbers, and he's doing it consistently, like consistent numbers. Those consistent.
Yeah, and like I said, I think Denver's still going to be good. They're still going to go to the playoffs. But a team that I did want to dabble into that's starting to make some noise, even though they just lost, yesterday night, obviously. What is going on with the Lakers? Lakers went on a pretty
They're
good win
here.
streak.
8 games, and it wasn't
But
just
LeBron pulls his groin in
It
the
hurts.
process.
and you know that's
Big.
considering
Especially
how
for
tight
the
it is.
seeding.
Because you want to know what? We can compare it to Jalen Brunson gets injured. He's out for however long. It affects New York, but I think they can still stick around in that 3 to 5. Lakers,
Yeah.
1 or 2 weeks.
Because Tibbs will have them ready.
Tight as pause. As close. Pause. As close as this West Conference is.
Mhm.
1 2 weeks, you could be in the 6th spot just like that. Like when I say just like that, it's like that. So we'll have to see. Hopefully, Luka can actually take this moment to appreciate his own team. Like this
Yeah.
is you. This is where you can go back
it's
to
kind of
Mavs
built
ball.
for him.
You can go back to Mavs ball. You don't have to wait for LeBron to do anything. It is you by yourself. So and he loves it. It's not even like he would be scared of that. That's his gameplay. Actually, he's a ball carrier. He's a ball handler. So we'll see.
So I do have a question to you now that we're 3/4 through the season. Okay. Actually, a little game here. little playoff picture. I'm gonna give you what the teams would be right now playing, and you need to tell me just how many games, who wins, and just say the deciding factor why. Because
Okay.
we got a lot of games to go through here.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, we'll start off with the West, the play-in right now. Got Kings, Mavericks. Who advances in the
Mavs.
play-in?
Mavs with all the injuries. Only reason I say this, Kings have some pretty good games where DeMar, he'll give you a clean 25. Zach LaVine will give you 35. The other games, it looks so
Bad.
dead. Like, and the bad thing is that they have chemistry. They're coming from the same team, but the team by itself doesn't look there. It always consistently looks like a 9 seed or a 10 seed. It
Okay.
never looks like it's anywhere above. So,
All right.
let's see the Mavs.
Timberwolves, Clippers.
Mini. Come on.
All right. Minnesota and Mavericks. Who wins that?
Minnesota, obviously.
Minnesota. So Minnesota is going to be the 8th seed. And all right, perfect. OKC versus the Mavericks.
OKC gives them the deadliest work. Like maybe and I can't even say that they push it to 5. Like that's gonna be a 4-0.
4-0
wrap.
4-5 good series. Grizzlies, Rockets.
That's gonna be a good series. I want to give it to. Not once. I'm gonna give it to the Rockets. I think that they've proved themselves.
How many games?
6.
6.
Good.
Okay,
Good
like
6-game series.
Warriors, Nuggets.
Nuggets.
How many games? 5.
Yeah, I'll say 5. I'll say about 5 for that one.
Lakers, Clippers. Lakers, Clippers. Lakers, Timberwolves.
That's gonna be a good one. That's the thing. I don't want to be biased and just say the Lakers like right off bat. Many's still gonna be good, but I think the Lakers. Like I do think the Lakers with
Wow.
Luka. I think with Luka there,
Wow.
you still have 2 other bigs that's gonna come. Obviously, they're not big pieces, but you still got Kleber that can shoot a 3. Still got Alex Len who could possibly just be a big.
I disagree. I think Minnesota advances.
Hayes has popped up. For what? Does Julius Randle show up? I'm asking.
That's good.
That
fair.
obviously I think that actually determines if Minnie even has like a real chance. I think Ant can do whatever he needs to.
All right.
Is Julius Randle showing up?
That's true. All right, we got the plan for the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Bulls, Heat. Hawks, Magic. Magic. All right.
So
you have the Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Who wins that?
Let's hear Orlando Magic one more time.
Give me Orlando. I like that. And then Miami. Okay. So, Cavaliers against Miami.
Cavs.
In
4.
Cavs in 4. Oof. Wipe the biased smirk off your face.
Cavs in 5. I guess if because that's not even biased. If Tyler has, I guess what is Tyler about to just have a 40 piece on us?
No, but I mean they're not bad. That's the best. That's one of the best coach teams.
Definitely not bad, unless Bam or Tyler combines for 80 points, or Tyler Hero goes off for 40.
All right. That's enough.
Cavs in 5 or 4. Miami Heat.
Lakers in 5.
Miami Heat. Feet, bleep. Cavs in 5. Cavs in 5.
All right, next up. Bucks Pacers. That's good. 4-5.
I think the Bucks in 5. I think the Bucks in 5.
Wow.
Yes. Honestly, the Pacers have had such a big drop off.
I
You
think
want to know why?
But Bucks in 5.
Bucks in 5. You want to know
6
why?
Or 7.
No, stop. And now you want to know why you're saying that is because you haven't been seeing a lot from Damian. He's actually been performing too. For some reason, he just doesn't get talked about. But he's been playing very good. And same thing for Indy. I haven't seen like not even a drop off in the record. Like they're still winning games. It's just in such like a different non-entertainment way. I think the Bucks will get them handled right. I promise you they will.
Knicks Pistons. That's a great series too.
Very good.
I think so.
Very
Especially
good
Pistons.
And honestly,
ooh, are you about to pick the Pistons? I think that's a big pick.
This is a tough one. I'm mad to say the Knicks in 6, possibly the Knicks in 6.
Okay,
but
I like that stuff.
I think this is going to be a warm welcome for the league to the Pistons. Like this is about to be one of those where it's like, oh, now we're here. Like now this is it. So
how about this? How about? Oh my goodness! Give me. I think I apologize to you. I have to apologize for the Cavaliers series. They would technically be playing. No, they would play Miami still. You're absolutely right. So it would be Celtics Magic.
Mm-hmm. I'll say the Celtics in Celtics in 5.
Celtics in 5. I like that. So those are the first rounds. That's what you think. You're happy with those picks?
I say I can go with those picks. I can go with those picks.
Now, just jump forward, fast forward big time into the future. Championship. Who's going, not who's winning. We're not going to have that conversation. That's for another episode because we are still too far away to even say who would win it. Who's going? Then don't just try to make us feel good in front of everybody. I hate you.
But if I say this, I'm wrong. But this, I feel like you ask any analyst,
You're going to say Cavs OKC.
you ask any analyst, you ask any ball knower, they don't have to be Cavs or OKC fans to tell you who's going to the finals.
Could be Denver, Boston.
It could be.
Like, I'm just saying, like, but it's one of those. It's not.
Then I feel like you should also ask. Let's go to the Eastern Conference Final and the Western Conference Final then. OKC, Denver, Cavs, Boston. Who do you have? William,
And you know, this is probably going to be Eastern Conference. If it's what we assume, the most competitive in
compared to what we've seen in the regular season
in a decade.
Yes.
I mean, you know what? You did a little trick question. I'm not gonna fall victim to this because you just want me to say, man, Caps and OKC.
No, because you're saying
we're gonna glaze our team on.
That's
they have us on camera now. It's ruling.
And you want to know what we ain't talked about it once, but
they have us. Also, they have video of us drooling over our team right now. So you know what? I'm gonna say Denver Celtics.
So me saying the number one team in the East has 53-10. Is going to the finals. I'm wrong for saying that, and I'm also saying that the team in the West has 53-11. The number one team
not
is
wrong, but I'm not going to sit here and glaze my team like that.
I
think it's going to be a good series. And you know what?
Being smart.
Going for right now. Hold on. Right now, I don't know. It flips back and forth. You want to know why? Yeah. Because Aaron Gordon's hurt right now. So now I'm like, that's affecting them. But what if they have Aaron Gordon? They were beating OKC today by 15 the first half with Aaron Gordon in the game. Then what? They lost Aaron Gordon.
That's fine.
I'm not saying that that's why OKC won or OKC played a good performance. They didn't shoot particularly well from the 3-point line, but they still got the win. But Denver is still a big threat to OKC, and I think, I'm not going to sit here and just talk great about my team.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like now you're going. You just went.
I can't tell you who's going to win the Western Conference. Eastern is that's still toss up for me. I think if the Celtics fully healthy, they've done it before.
They have, but I think with DeAndre Hunter, it's just so different.
We'll have to see.
It's so different.
Ty Jerome's a great player as well.
They haven't lost a game with him yet. They're 14-0 with him being there.
I mean, we'll have to see. We really just have to see.
Thunder, I guarantee if J-Dub or Chet gives you even 85% of what you need, because they're most likely going to the finals. I hate to burn your bubble, but because they're most likely going to the finals. That's just being smart. Simply just being smart.
I suppose. Lastly, there was some rumors coming about Luka if he didn't re-up. Because obviously now you see with the injury of LeBron, Luka's going to get a chance to play by himself. He's going to learn what that's going to feel like for years to come in LA. Short of them getting him a superstar next season after LeBron, maybe retires, maybe stays, but even then he's still getting older. If Luka were to leave, Luka Magic leaves La La Land, where do you see him going?
Don't see him leaving. I think that he has to make this a home. I can't tell you that I see him in a different jersey.
Wow.
Can't.
You can't?
He wouldn't.
Now, do you think LA builds superstars around him, or do they build a team that's just right around him?
You look at how Genie and Rob work. They will.
Superstar, or like just get good players for him?
I think it's hard to get a superstar with Luka, like a main superstar. Like I think the Mavs, they took such a huge risky chance and obviously worked out with Kyrie because that's a ball carrier. Like same thing with LeBron. You have two people that demand the ball, like demand the ball. So with Luka, you don't necessarily need a superstar. You give me 3 to 4 players that I could generally get 15, 12 points out of that can actually help me defensive wise and give me the ball when I need it. He'll be okay. And I think that Jeannie and Rob will understand that. I think that they will understand that. They know that. Team's not bad now.
I totally agree. I agree with that.
Team's not bad now. You look at their upcoming like look at their upcoming schedule. Without, of course,
LeBron.
I'm still taking them in a couple of these games. I mean, the Denver games, of course, that's going to be a little tricky.
Yeah,
obviously, but Phoenix, I'll say that they take them. Obviously, the Nets, I would hope so, right? I would hope so. San Antonio, I would hope you can win that. Milwaukee, that could be a little tricky, also, of course. Like you gotta be a little prepared.
No big or LeBron.
That's what I'm saying.
That's just horrible.
Everybody else, Chicago, Orlando, even if Orlando, they could possibly have a good game too. But I'm pretty sure everybody else except for probably that Denver Milwaukee game, they should be okay with just Luka. Like we're forgetting that's Luka.
Yeah,
like that's somebody without Kyrie, without like that's still a number one. Like come on.
I want to talk about one more thing because I know we covered the championship, covered a little bit what happened over recent nights. Kevin Durant is leaving Phoenix this offseason. Where is he going?
I want to say possibly the Warriors. I think that the reason that he did not do it throughout the season, which I think he said, it's just so much for a guy like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, out of all people, to just leave in the middle of the season, it's a lot for obvious reasons. Obvious reasons. So I think it could potentially be where he goes back there. If not, where else? Like where do you have like another potential spot that you think he's gonna go?
I think he could potentially go to Houston.
Houston wouldn't be bad. I also know that they would do that. I think that knowing Ime and how he kind of built up Boston, you can give Mazzulla a lot of credit for Boston. I give Ime a lot of that credit. Ime and Brad Stevens, they get most of the whole credit for basically what the Celtics are still doing to this day. I don't think he would not mess up or screw over the Rockets. I just don't think he would try to add such a big name comparing to the piece that you have. I don't think.
How about Minnesota?
Honestly, that's not bad. Ant would actually request that too. Ant would not demand
co-sign on his uncle to be on his team.
He would generally co-sign on that. Yeah. Especially with losing Cat too. You can possibly
Cat's
keep Rudy.
DiVincenzo hasn't panned out how they wanted him to. And
Rudy's so bad. I know I just cut you off. I did not mean to do that, but
Rudy's horrible.
Rudy is so bad.
That is the worst player to ever win defensive player.
And you want to know what? I used to say this about somebody, and I want you to laugh. I say this about Clint Capella, but Clint Capella is actually a good player from now what I've seen of Rudy. Like Clint Capella, I think Clint Capella would stand there and just take alley-oops from either James Harden or Trae Young.
Clint Capella is like, you know what Clint Capella is? That's the center in 2K that's always an 85, and you're like, why?
Always, bro. No,
and it has no trade value,
bro. He just got the little yellow piece.
Trade him for a second.
That's all he had, bro.
Yeah.
But when you see Rudy, it's like it sounds like he's slipping on glass every time he's like playing basketball. Like he can never keep the ball in his hands. He shoots a layup like he's Angel Reese and he's 7 foot. It's bad. It's getting to a point. I think even Anthony Edwards is starting to generally just be like, bro,
I'm done.
I'm done. Like Ant's a little too honest to the point I know that he's had to at least just like when it's like, bro, I know you can do something more. I know you could do at least something.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
Well,
I think that's a great way to wrap it up. I think that's a good way.
You know it's bad when the pod is us talking about Rudy go square.
Oh my
Thank you for joining, ladies and gentlemen, on this episode 2 of the Get Back podcast. It's good being with you. We are so back. Just want to let you guys know, quick update, will not be here next week. So, Ayden Jones may or may not have some content for you guys the next coming weeks.
I'm going to be out there for y'all.
Watch the Instagram.
Just watch.
There might be some videos, some audios. You don't know. Maybe Ayden Jones gives some takes on what he thinks in the sports world when I'm gone. But as always, it's been a pleasure on the Get Back podcast. I'm your host, Damian, Dusten. Ayden Jones.
We here. We here. It's,
Yeah.
it's so back. It's so
Oh, yeah.
back. Thank you so much, y'all.
And this is actually going to be up on video this time. Unlike the last episode, which was your fault. He wanted to put it in 4K, 25 gigs on the computer. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Damian. As Denver through 2 through 5, I think OKC right now, and I think Cleveland respectfully are in a tier
Gotcha,
themselves
yeah,
right now,
right.
just because of the games they have.